Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Farming Simulator 17. I'm back on Thornton Farm here today, and I want to have a look at clover. I've already gone ahead and added it into the map itself, because I want to actually just show you something. Somebody in my comments, forget the name, sorry about that, I can't remember it, spoke to me about or asked me about perhaps maybe something along the lines of clover seeds. Got me curious. So I had a bit of a search around on the internet, on YouTube, and did a Google search and whatever else, and everything I've watched and read up on, and I'm not a farmer so I could be completely wrong here, so please correct me if I am, but the videos that I watched actually showed a standard combine harvester, as you can see here. The one in the videos that I watched I think was a Case IH, but you know, same setup with a standard grain header that you would harvest wheat with or whatever else, and they were harvesting clover seeds. Now I do understand that there is also another way that you would do this with a large, like, vacuum cleaner style type of setup, but obviously we don't have that in the game, so we have to go with what we got. So what I want to do here is I've set this up so that it has all of the particle animations and everything else, and this is just a video to show kind of what I've done, a testing video if you like, similar to what I do with my testing carrots. And what I want to do is just show you what I've put together here. Now I've added all of the animations to the header and everything, so if I actually get this fired up on a hired worker, you can see here we do have the animations, so it is actually showing clover in the header, the grain header there, and going into the system and whatever else. And I've also set it up so it produces a windrow, and in this particular case it is a clover windrow, and I will show you that when we pick it up. And also, if I jump back into the harvest here a second, what I'll do is I'll just set this up. Oh, I've already done that, that's fine. If I just show you, I've put an animation for the actual hopper there, so it comes out. I took this from, all of this is from a 15 map which I've just converted over. I believe these were actually assigned to poppies, but you know, poppy seeds, clover seeds, it's all pretty much, I would imagine, the same sort of thing, or as close as we're going to get it in the game. So hopefully that is somewhat, at least to a point, as accurate as it can be. So I've set all that up, and like I said, I've put a windrow into it and everything else. So I'm just going to let that run, and what I will do is I'm just going to get a windrow because I want to show you that as well. So I'll go over to one of the tractors I've got set up here. Yeah, this one's fine, we'll take this one. So if I jump into this one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you very quickly, we can actually windrow this the way I've set it up. But really what this video is all about is, as I say, it's a testing video, but it's also to get your feedback, if you don't mind, on whether this is something you'd like to see. Just bear with me. Turn my actual volume down so I don't get any feedback on the mic, or try not to get any feedback on the mic. So yeah, if I can get this into the thing, there we go. So I just want to show you that it will actually windrow the clover swath, whatever you want to call it. So I'll wait for the harvester to get out of the way, and then I'll just show you this quickly. So if I open this up, now it won't work with a tedder because it doesn't require it, and I'll show you why that is in a second. I mean, at the end of the day, this is set up as straw, not as grass like you would see from a mower, so you know, it's not going to work in a similar fashion, so tedding is not something that you would need to do. This has kind of been set up as a dry grass. It won't show you here, but and you can see I've got Farmer's Touch on, and it shows clover seeds there and everything else. I'll just show you over here, it does actually show up as 85% ready, and if I show you that in the menu here, we can have a look under grow state, and it's about right. I think that's 85%, and I have tested it, it does all go all the way to 100%. Now the clover texture I've taken from another map, as I say from 15, doesn't have a withered texture, so it won't actually ever go withered from what I can tell. I'm not really that bothered about that, because if I'm going to plant it, I'm going to harvest it, so you know, why would I want it to go withered, I guess. But So anyway, let's put this into action here, and I just want to show you it does actually, you can actually windrow the swath, no problem, and you have all of the particles and everything else on the actual rotors, so that does actually work. So just wanted to show you that. So we'll stop that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab a baler, and I want to just show you what we get with that. Probably going to be a shortish video for a change, not an hour long one or more, but this is just, as I say, it's a testing video just to get your guys' feedback on whether this is something you'd be interested in, whether you think it's unrealistic or whatever else. Like I say, the videos that I watched, it did show a standard harvester, combine harvester with a grain header harvesting clover seeds. So, you know, I'm just going to take that video was showing an accurate representation of what you would actually do and what you would use to harvest them. One thing it didn't actually show was a swath coming out the back. It just showed like a chopped kind of straw effect, or whatever you want to call it, just you know. So again, I don't know if that would be accurate or not. I'm assuming it would be. You would get something from the back of the harvester like I've put here with a, you know, a swath on the ground, so you can then pick it up. So what I want to do here is I'm just going to get this thing fired up. Now this is just your standard New Holland round baler. So if we come into here, you can see it does actually pick it up. It's got its own HUD, and it's also got showing up as Clover windrow. So we've got that full up. Why does it go away? Got things popping up that I don't want to pop up. Annoying. I don't know. Anyway, ignore that. Right, so if I just open this up, so we do get a bale come out the back. It will bale it. So we'll just do that. We'll just grab one more. So as I said, it's got its own HUD, and it does show up as Clover windrow. Missing loads, never mind, doesn't matter. So we'll do that, and we'll take that one out as well. Put it back a little bit, there we go. So if I just switch this off now, and then what I'll show you, I'll go and grab the square baler and I'll show you that that works as well. Now I did actually try to register a bale of my own, a clover bale, and while I could actually get a clover bale, no problem, it showed up in game, it registered, I could put it onto a auto loading trailer, I could do whatever I wanted with it, you know, to a point I could sell it, and it, you know, for money obviously, and then, you know, at the sell point for bales. But one thing I could not do, which really annoyed me, was I could not get it to work with any of the animals. Again, I've read up on a little bit about what you could possibly use clover for with your animals. Now obviously I don't know if that is clover as a whole, or whether it would be clover as in a swath of clover like we've got here. Again, that's something, if you could give me some feedback on that, I don't know on that. But so if I get this opened up here, and we'll switch this one on, and we can then come into here, and again you can see got its own HUD, and it will say Clover windrow, so it is actually picking up a Clover windrow. No problem, we're getting what we want. So I'll just get a couple of these so I can actually pick them up in a minute to show you what I want to show you in a minute. So like I was saying, what I couldn't do is actually get them to register as something that I could actually use them with, or you know, whatever else in the game. I could sell them, but that's all I could do with them. I couldn't then use them to actually give to the animals or whatever else. They just wouldn't work with anything other than being able to sell them. So I decided that that was probably not the best way to go around it, because, you know, it's okay to do that, that's fine, and if that's okay, then, you know, perhaps maybe that might be something you can work with. Again, if I can get your feedback on that as well, it'd be fantastic. But what I wanted to actually do is set this up so that perhaps maybe they could be used in a way that the animals could then, you know, use them. So what I've done is actually set this up so what it gives me, and with the new update for game extension or whatever it's called, I can come over and it will actually show me that it's a hay bale. So you could perhaps maybe take this as a clover windrow that creates a clover hay bale. Obviously it's just going to say hay, but I can't get around that unfortunately, because it would conflict with the standard hay bale that's in the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with that and say that it's a clover hay bale, and that way then the game will recognise it and it can then be used in-game as a standard. I'll just go around to my other tractor here. It can be then used as a standard way of feeding your animals if you so choose to do that. So if I just come into here, and we'll just go and empty out the harvester so I can show you perhaps maybe a little bit better what the seeds look like, the clover seeds. So yeah, like I was saying, as if you can give me some feedback on this and just let me know whether this is something, for one, if it's something you'd like to actually see me do a video on how I set all this up and put it together. If you're interested in this, clover, I did the alfalfa or lucerne video. I think that went down relatively well. Perhaps it may be a different way of doing it. Unfortunately, and I've read up through the forums on Mario.net from Black Sheep modding on the creator of the additional map type script, and the countless pages that I went through, people asked about lucerne and obviously clover, and his feedback was that unfortunately within Farming Simulator 17, until somebody perhaps maybe creates a script to overcome it, there is no way of adding an additional fruit type to the mowers. They will only accept grass. That's all they will work with. So that's his words, not mine. So unfortunately it's not something that I can overcome, like I say, until perhaps maybe somebody creates a script similar to the multi-mower script in 15. That may not even work with 17, I don't know, may not be possible, again because of limitations that have been introduced into the game, into Farming Simulator 17 that weren't there within 15, again I don't know. But so we've got this is the texture that I took from 15 for the poppy seeds. I think it looks pretty good, so I'm going to go with it. That's my clover seeds. And I've also set up a couple of sell points, so there's only 2 on this particular map anyway, so we can have a look at those. And we've got the clover HUD there, and we've got our Blue Spear stores and Dalton stores and their respective sell prices, so that's going to be okay. And then we've got our clover bale. It does actually give you 2 HUDs for some reason. That's something I can't seem to get around. I don't know why it does that, but this is the one that we're going to be working with, and it gives you a price of £122 in my case per litre. Now one thing I will say is the way that I've been playing around with this, no matter what I do, because the way that the additional map type script registers the windrow and the straw and whatever else, and again limitations of the script may be in limitations of the game, I don't know, again I cannot get it to work with a forage wagon or loading wagon, whatever you want to call it, the loading wagon, one of these. If I actually get one of those, it doesn't even show. I know it shows clover there, but that's just because I've got it under the fill types, which I need to adjust. That will actually accept clover seeds, but I don't want it to accept clover seeds. What I want it to do is pick up the clover windrow, and for whatever reason I just cannot seem to get around that. But it didn't really bother me that much, because the fact that you can bale it, I figured that's a bonus, because people have asked in the comments on some of the videos, if that's a possibility of how we would go around setting it up, that it can be done in this fashion. Now obviously the question I was asked was, how do we go about mowing it? Well, hopefully I've answered that. You can't, at least not in a way that would work like it did in 15, where you would buy your standard mower set up like these and then mow it and then have your swath and then pick it up either with the forage wagon or with the baler. That unfortunately, again, to what I've read, just doesn't work. It won't work. at the moment. That may change, but the way that I've put this together is, I think, acceptable to me at least. We have a clover seeds, so if I jump back into the harvest here, we have our clover seeds, which has got its own HUD, and it does actually show up as clover seeds in a minute. There we go. So it shows up as clover seeds, and again we do have the swath coming out the back, and then we have the windrow that we can then bale. I think that that's pretty acceptable. You know, it looks pretty good, and it is another way of then collecting hay instead of perhaps maybe, you know, having to mow your grass and then ted it. You know, if you're going to be harvesting the clover for the clover seeds anyway, then that byproduct, which would be the clover windrow, is a bonus in my opinion. So yeah, I think, you know, like I say, it's going to be a bit of a shorter video, but I just wanted to put this out to give you guys something to think about, and like I say, give me some feedback on, just to let me know whether you think this is a good thing or a bad thing, or whether it's something you'd like to see me do a video on, of how I've set it all up and put it together, and how far you want me to go into it. Do you want me to show you how to put the clover into a map? Again, you know, the similarities between the Lucerne video and this particular crop, the clover, on how to put it into the map is very similar. Obviously it's slightly different textures. One is named Lucerne and one is named Clee, but the actual process is exactly the same, by just converting the textures to be compatible with Farm Sim 17 and then putting them in the appropriate folders. So, but if you can let me know again on that, what you know, how in depth you'd like me to go with it. Would you like me to show you how to put the clover into the map, and then set it all up in this fashion, you know, knowing that the video is more than likely going to be quite long. I tend not to want to break the videos up too much. I tend to find that if you're doing something like this, it has to be something you do in one sort of go, which is why the last video was like 1 hour and 40 minutes. That's just the way I do it. I think if it was to be in smaller videos, you would end up watching the first one, perhaps then when you went to the second one, potentially you would end up having to go back to the first one because you would have missed something, and it would just be a lot of switching backwards and forwards and make it more confusing. Again, feedback would be great on that. If you want smaller videos, then let me know. You know, if you want me to show you in its entirety how to put the clover into the map, how to set it all up and everything else, and you'd prefer me to do that in smaller chunks, then let me know again on that, and I will try to accommodate whichever works best for you guys. But for me, I think it's better in one long video, but you know, that's just me, so let me know what you think on that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump back into let's see, which I haven't got them set up. Okay, that's fine. So I'm just going to jump back into this tractor over here, because I want to collect just a couple more bales, because what I'm going to do then is I'm going to show you just quickly. I won't do too many more, just want to get enough that I can show you that they will actually go onto a trailer that's got the automatic loading script, and then that they will be actually accepted by the animals, because they are recognised by the game as your standard hay bale. As I said before, if I was to create my own bale, which I did do quite successfully in the actual bale creation itself, it's just unfortunately that no matter what I tried to do, the actual game would not recognise it, or would not accept it as a recognised animal feed. It just wouldn't allow me to add it into that particular food group, no matter what I tried to do with the actual script itself, and changing things within the mod desk and trying to force it to recognise the Clee windrow bale. It just wouldn't allow it to work, and as I said before, all I could do with the damn thing was just sell it, which was, you know, again, which was okay, but I would really like to be able to do something more with it than that. So I think we'll just get to the end of this row and then we'll move on from there. So what I'll do then is I'll just go and grab the auto-load trailer, and I won't sell them all, or at least I'll try not to. So if I can turn that off, and we'll just empty those out. like so. So we'll get this off the field so it's not in the way, and then I'll go and grab the autoload trailer and we'll come and pick them up, and then we'll take them down. What I'll do is I'll probably put them in the animal feed first, so that because it won't take very many, because I haven't actually got any animals on the farm. So if I do that first, so if I come into here, Baling Technologies, I'll use this one so I don't have to mess around with the truck and trailer. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll just get this fired up. So we've got it on square bales at the moment, so that's fine. I don't think on this particular one you can, like you did, there was a, there was 1 in 15 I think, where you could actually have a mixture of bales, but I think in this one it doesn't do that. That's fine. So what I'll do is I'll just come around here, start at the top, and then work our way down. So right, I'll press X to put it into work position, and we'll pick up some bales, and then like I said, once I've got a few, or what I've got on the field here, I will we'll head down to the animals, and I'll just show you that the animals will actually accept them. There's no reason why they wouldn't, because as I said before, this is just based around the standard in-game hay bale, but I just want to show you that it does actually work. So what I'll do is I'm going to pause, and I'll meet you back down with the cows, and then we will have a look at that and show you there that they do actually work with the cows. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so here we are at the main farm now. We're just going to come around into the actual cow barn, or whatever you want to call it, cow shed I guess, I don't know. So if we come into here, with any luck, I'm in the right position. Let's turn that off, and we'll do that, and there we go. So it does actually accept them once I unlock them from the trailer. It does actually accept it into the cow feed. So if I come around to the cows, you can see hay is now full up. So we'll head over to the sheep, because that also accepts hay, and then I'll show you what that it does actually work over there as well. So I'll see you in a little bit when we get over to there. Okay, so we're over by the sheep now, and I'm just going to come into the trigger. There we go, and it does actually accept them in there as well, so fantastic. So I'll just load those back up, and put the straps back on. There we go. So it does actually accept them in there as well. Again, like I said before, there's no reason why it wouldn't, because they're just recognised as standard hay bales, but I just wanted to show you they do actually work. So what I'll do is I'll just head over to the sell point, and then I'll show you that we can sell them and what we get for them in there. Again, it will just be what we would ever get for a standard hay bale, but I just want to show you it does actually all work, so you can possibly get all the information and then decide whether you think this is something you'd be interested in seeing. So I'll see you in a little bit when we get there. Okay, so we're by the sell point now. I'm just going to drive in through here, and we will then sell these hay bales. Like I said, standard hay bales, nothing special about them, but other than what they are. And like I say, that's really the only way I could set it up in a manner that we could use them for various different things within the farm itself. If I was to set it up any other way, then, you know, like I said, I could sell them, but I couldn't actually use them for anything else other than that. So I think this is the only way really that I can work around it. So what I'll do is I'm just going to put that into there, just in case I need to come back to it. So again, we've got clover seeds. This is what's it's clover, but we're getting clover seeds from the actual clover itself, and that's what we're getting into our harvester here. So we've got clover seeds in there. Again, it's got its own HUD and everything else. And then we are creating a windrow, a swath I should say, which we can windrow and then collect with the baler, not the forage wagon. It will not pick it up with a forage wagon. I've tested it many times. Unfortunately, it's just something I can't seem to figure out how to get around that. It just won't seem to work as a fill type. Perhaps maybe I could get it to work, but in all my testing so far it will not. I did consider perhaps maybe changing the fill type from the swath to hay, so it actually just shows up as hay, but again I don't know if that would be acceptable, because then it would just show up as hay and not like I've set it up at the moment as a clover windrow. Again, if you can give me feedback on that, if you think that you would like to be able to pick it up with the forage wagon, then that might be a workaround. But I think the idea behind this would be to bale it. So for me, I'm okay with the fact that I can't pick it up in a forage wagon. I don't have a problem with that. I can pick it up with the baler and bale it and whatever else, and then, like you've just seen, I can sell it. I can use it for my cows and also for my sheep. So for me, that works really well. I have no problem with any of that. So again, if you can give me feedback, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so like I said, this is just a testing video, just to give you an insight of what I've put together and what I've done, and it really just, can you let me know if it's something you're interested in, if you'd like to see it and whatever else, and any suggestions, that'll be fantastic. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to your feedback, and I will catch you in the next one.